Hey y'all, welcome back to Agape Gardens. Let's take another walk around the garden for our second garden tour. So let's first take a look out front where we have our black elephant ear that's just getting a new leaf. We were a little worried about it, but it seems to be bouncing back. We have this new garden bed with a baby okra. We have a ground cherry that's trying to produce fruit when it's so small. A Magella perilla, a gazania. This is our peach tree that has the fungal issue, and it has managed to set some fruit. I don't know if that fruit's going to be any good, but I'm going to look and see what happens. Here we have a liatris, a caraway, my marjoram, our oregano, which needs to be cut back, and some curly parsley. And all these little seedlings are flat leaf parsley that's reseeded. Our sage is flowering, as is our thyme. How gorgeous. And our lamb's ear is back. Our yellow rose in the front is recovering from the aphids after being sprayed with neem oil a few times. We have a yellow gazania, another liatris, and this is another liatris in the back, just a different variety. Our roselle is looking good. Alright, so we have our bee balm. It got hit with a little powdery mildew, but it's recovering nicely. Our strawberries at home. And we've got a couple baby strawberries on there. Some dill. Lemon balm. Horehound over here. Again, we've got some little strawberries going on here. We've had a lot of problems with the birds getting the strawberries here. We recently potted up our citronella. And if you take a look at the chamomile, it's looking a lot better since I put a little bit of manure on it, gave it a little fish fertilizer. It's really greened up and looking a lot better. I need to harvest some of those blooms. In here we have a couple of cabbages, a New Brunswick cabbage and a Savoy cabbage. We're just kind of loosely protecting those. And here we have our petunias and our snapdragons. And that little coleus tucked back there. Here, our pak choy has gone to seed. And if you see here, these are the little seed pods. And you can actually eat these. You can put them on salads or anything. They have a similar flavor to the pak choy. Or you can let them dry and save the seeds, which I might just do since it's already this far gone. Here's the spinach that has bolted and gone to seed. And we have some Rocky Top lettuce mix, the red romaine. On the bottom we have a sedum, some chives, some rosemary from last year. And here we have an onion going to bloom, our alyssum. Remember, we're trying to use that as a living ground cover over time. We have our tomato, and then this giant cilantro that has bolted. Okay, and here's this one. Actually got knocked over in a storm and half of it is pulled off. You can see the stump down here. This one is in full force, so we'll be harvesting a lot of coriander from that. There's another tomato tucked in here. I have had a little bit of aphid pressure on the tomatoes this year. Another tomato, a couple of turnips. I've harvested most of the turnips. We've got some mushrooms back here. These are not planted, these just come up. This is a sign of good soil health when you have mushrooms in your garden beds. Don't ever worry about that. We have some carrots, and then this turnip I just could not pull up. These are small turnips, are supposed to be. And so this one looked like it was gonna throw up a seed head, and I was gonna save the seeds from it, so that's why it's still here. A tomato, another tomato, some beets in the back. We use the greens of those as well as the root when they're ready. A lot of this that you see here is the greens of the radishes that I harvested in my last video. I went ahead and put them there as like a mulch. And you always want to cover the soil to help maintain moisture. There's some more of those mushrooms. If anybody knows what those are, let me know in the comments. Our tomato row. We're going to connect their T's on our T-posts, and then we will connect this very long piece of rebar. To hold up our tomatoes. So here we have our Super Sweet 100 that I have set up with this string to the top, and that's going to be the support for that tomato. It's already doing really well, and setting some blossoms. I've been pruning off the suckers. I have a video about that. I will link in the iCards. We have some sunflowers over here we need to mulch, and I planted some peppers here. This one is a tequila sunrise. There's a little volunteer tomato. I'm going to see what it does. Our red romaine is still hanging in. We have another pepper, an arroz con pollo, some melons or cucumbers. This is a pepperfish. Sometimes I put these cages over my plants so that the birds don't attack them quite as much. Here is our nasturtium, beautiful nasturtium. These are some red conical cabbages, which have a little bit of bug damage, but I haven't found any worms to pull off because the birds get them more quickly than I do. And this here is our radish that we have let go to seed. So you'll see here there are flowers that turn into these little seed pods, and those seed pods will get much larger and dry out, and you can save the seeds. You can also eat these seed pods when they get just a little bit bigger, and they taste a lot like a radish. They're good on salads. You could pickle them. We have this beautiful rose. I can't remember the name, but I will put it on the screen. We have our garden tower rocking out with kale, collards. We did get a volunteer tomato plant, so I'm going to see what that is, how that goes. We've got some marigolds, some more lettuce, another volunteer tomato. And these seed pods are similar to what will happen on the radish. So you can see that these are a little bit larger. They'll get larger still, and then you could pick those. It looks like our yarrow is going to bloom for the first time. Can we just take a moment to appreciate this glorious tree? Pretty soon, pollinators will be covering, buzzing all around this flowering lilac tree. I actually saw a bumblebee on it yesterday. So here is the bed I had radishes in, which greatly needs to be weeded and mulched. So I will be doing that this week. We have some black beans here. I can't remember exactly what this bean is. And one noodle bean at the end just for show. Okay, so on the other side of our arch trellis, we have some more beans. We got a tiny baby borage coming in. This is a radish I missed. And we have this broccoli rabe. Now, my understanding is the broccoli rabe, you harvest it when it looks about like this, maybe a little tighter. I missed mine, so it's blooming. I can still harvest these, which I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to harvest as much as I can, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull this out because this week we are having 90-degree days. And when I pull that out, it'll allow this nasturtium to get a little bit of a boost. We have another pepper. This is a tequila sunrise that I saved the seeds for. So it was open pollinated, so it might be a little bit different. Our red Russian kale. And then we have our garlic. So this whole garlic bed has some beets planted in it. I went ahead and planted the peppers in it. Our Egyptian walking onion is bent over. I mean, I don't exactly know how this is supposed to go, but we're letting it go. Let's see what happens. So you'll just see I have different peppers planted within the garlic. The garlic is producing these scapes. So today I'm going to try and make a garlic scape pesto and see if I like it. And then I'm going to go ahead and harvest the rest of these scapes and do that. And I think we have about another month before I harvest this garlic. We have our tiny volunteer amaranth. I put an eggplant here just to see what's what. I went ahead and sprayed last night with neem oil because I was noticing some aphid activity. Okay, here we have more garlic. Our alyssum is doing well. There's some dinosaur kale, some blue scotch curl kale, some of the Rocky Top lettuce mix. I went ahead and put our lunchbox orange pepper there. I bought that at Home Depot. Another pepper here, some rainbow chard. Looking really good. So here we have our echinacea, its second year. It's getting ready to bloom. We have some carrots, our collard greens, which are doing a lot better with the bug pressure. If you see all those flecks all over the leaves, that's just the pollen from the lilac tree above it. We have our glorious volunteer sunflower. Another volunteer sunflower. We're just kind of letting them grow. And then we have 3 butternut squash vines. I'll have to thin some of those once they start taking off. And these are our bush watermelon from Burpee Seeds that we're trying this year in this container. So we've had 2 come up. I'll go ahead and thin one of those out once they get a little larger. Our tomatillos have really started to take off. On the right we have the giant tomatillos, and on the left the purple tomatillos. I may have to thin those as well. They're going to be setting fruit very soon. We have our goji berry, the mint, chocolate mint, orange mint, spearmint in these containers. And the stinging nettle seems to be taking off as well. Thank you guys for walking around the garden with me. I hope you enjoyed what you saw and the growth and the change that is happening. If you enjoy this kind of video, please give it a like. Please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. And I hope to see you next time.